Hi everyone, welcome to a new video. I keep on messing around with the lighting. I feel like I can never quite get it right, but regardless, we'll keep trying. But today I have a really exciting video. I got the Candy Skies palette, and I know some people were joking online that this is what the Candyland palette from ColourPop should have been, which by the way, I don't have that, I skipped it. But when I first saw this, I honestly was like, I haven't felt so excited for eyeshadow in a while, and I was like, okay, I really want to try this. This is definitely so different from what she had been releasing, and I felt like this, you could really see that she was actually caring about making makeup again. And I gotta say, I honestly think that her cousin Erin needs to do something with her really strong talent and gift for curating colors and concepts. She really does have a natural aptitude for this kind of stuff. I think she did such a great job. I think she really injected some freshness into Lauralee's brand. So anyways, I got it. I also, if you just get the palette, then you can't really hit free shipping, and it's like just 10 bucks more to get the bundle and then get the free shipping. So I did go ahead. I got the bundle, so these two glosses came. The packaging is so adorable, so even if I don't use these much, they're gonna make great desk decorators. I love the pastel, and of course what's inside, even if I don't use it much, like it's just really pretty. I'll be using these in the finished look. You'll get to see these on my lips. So I'm gonna start off with using as many of the colors as I feel like, I guess. I think I'm gonna just kind of stick with the peachier side. I think we'll just do that and I'll see what I'm feeling like. So I'm gonna take Peach Ring, load it up on the brush. I'm just gonna drop it in the middle. I do have the Peiliee eyeshadow base on my eyelids as the primer. I kind of noticed that one does like the least terrible job of drying out my eyelids. I don't know. I really don't know what I should be doing for primer. I'm honestly so confused. Most eyeshadow primer videos on the internet are for people with oily lids, so for people with dry lids there's like no resources, so I've just been like trialing and erroring, and I don't know. Also, this palette smells so good. It smells like childhood candy, or like childhood candy shops. I'm like so into it. And I've always found her eyeshadow formula to be pretty rock solid. There's not much I could say either way about it, except that it is good. It does what it's supposed to do, and it does what I would expect it to, so I never have much in the way to complain about it. I'm gonna go into Roasted Caramel, and I'm gonna put that on the outer corner. I'm kind of like working at an angle like I usually do, or I'm gonna kind of pull it across my lash line. And oranges aren't necessarily a super hard color to make, so these are doing really well. Using the palette mirror, I'm like constantly smelling the palette, and like it's just such a nice pleasant smell. If you don't like fragranced makeup, obviously this is fragranced, but like I super like it. That is what it's looking like so far. I just kind of wiped off the brush a little bit on like a color switch thing, so now I'm thinking I kind of want to try using E-Bug on the inner half, or like the inner third of my upper lash line, just to see what it looks like. It's this lavender matte. You can definitely see it showing up, that's for sure. I'm gonna go back in with Peach Ring and just kind of blend those two together. It seems like it may have been slightly too dark of a lavender for me to really put on the inner part, because now it almost kind of looks like I have like really bad contour. Still really pretty though. Okay, so that's what that's looking like. Everything so far has been working really well for me, so I definitely really like that. I'm gonna take the Roasted Caramel and I'm gonna start working on the lower lash line. Okay, and I think I actually do want to add a pop of that mint chip on the inner corner of my lower lash line. This might have been the better option for the upper one too, but we'll just work with it. Yeah, that would have been a lot much of a better color choice. I wasn't even thinking. And this is a beautiful mint shade. That is such a gorgeous mint shade. I definitely do not really have a mint shade quite like this that I like as much as I like this one. This is so nice, and it builds up very quickly. Alright, I'm now gonna start working on the shimmers, so I'm gonna probably try to cover up a little bit of this purple, and the only thing about this is that aside from this, there's basically only this super white color to like really like be an inner corner highlight. The shimmers are all a little bit darker, but that's okay. You know, now that I think about it, I'm actually gonna take this white and I'm gonna use it to try and kind of cover up some of that lavender, see if I can lighten it up a little bit. I wonder how this white would stack up against the white from Life's a Drive Facelift, but I don't have that palette. Not in the budget right now. Okay, you can see that the white definitely lightened it up by a little bit, which is good. I was thinking of using Sunset just because it's so pretty. Perfect orange shimmer. I can never resist, and I'm just gonna use that. This is not like the world's shiniest shimmer, you know, it still is really pretty. It's not gonna be like that intense ultra metallic, like glistening wet look though. Not gonna give you that. But you can still definitely see the effect on camera. I use my finger for a little bit more intensity. I definitely prefer the shimmers from Lunar Beauty over this shimmer. But that being said, Lauralee's Nudie Patootie has some shimmers that are like super intense, so I'm sure she could have put them in if she wanted. Okay, that's what the eyes are looking like now. It's not like, definitely not super original coming from me especially, so, but that's okay, I still really like it. I think I'll go in with a little bit more of mint chip on the lower inner corners just to add. I just think it might be better even more intense. And now I'm gonna use pistachio on the lower lash line to contrast with what's on the upper eyelid, kind of add a little bit of variety. You can see that definitely kind of adds to the lower lash line being a bit different. This also is not like super intense. These shimmers do have a little bit of fallout, so just be careful. It's not bad though. I'm gonna go back into Roasted Caramel just to continue to deepen up the outer corner and blend the two shades together. And that is going to be the eyeshadow look number 1. Definitely has a lot of color into it. I definitely really like that I put mint on the lower lash line, and I wish I had put it on the upper eyelid as well, but honestly the lavender was fine. Adding that white definitely helped to change it and make it lighter, especially closer to my inner corners. You can kind of see the gradation effect it created, and overall I think this is a really cute kind of twist on a classic like orange warm tone eyeshadow look. Having the little pops of color in the usual places definitely adds some interest. So I will be back with my lashes finished, my face finished and everything, and then we can move on to the next look after that. Okay, this is the final look. As you can see, I just have mascara on. Definitely liking how my lashes are looking these days. They have definitely gotten noticeably longer. Not like a lot longer, because I mean my lashes are pretty sad, but they're a lot less sad these days. So I definitely feel more confident being able to wear just mascara if I don't feel like wearing false lashes, which was like today was one of those days. I don't know, I'm not really ever a false lash person during the summer. I feel like it's just so much work and it's so hot, and I get lazy when it's hot. So this is nice. I did add a little bit of black eyeliner. You can see in the corners that I added just the tiniest bit, and I just followed the shape of my eyelid. I just kind of worked the wing under where my monolid kind of is the wrinkliest and where it's the foldiest. I just kind of slipped under that, so I can't draw it out too long or else it's gonna make my eyes kind of start going down and it's gonna look really weird. But as a daily look, because it's so short, it works, and it still kind of elongates my eyes and adds some definition. So you can see from a distance that it just makes my eyes look a little bit more defined. I am wearing the clear gloss in the shade Strawberry Sky. I would say this is basically a clear gloss. It does have color in the tube, but on the lips you can see that it just adds like a teeny tiny bit of warmth. It almost functionally feels like a clear gloss. I wonder what it would look like if I had a lip product underneath. This is just, I just lined my lips on the outside and then put lip gloss on top, so my bare lips are showing through, and you can see it definitely is really pretty. It is so comfortable. I'm not getting any stickiness at all. It just feels like a watery film on my lips, so definitely not something that's gonna stick as I talk. Probably would catch my hair though, but yeah, not sticky. Definitely passes my personal standards for non-sticky glosses, so I really like this. So yeah, on to the next look. Hi everyone, I am back to film look number 2, and for this look I'm thinking I'm going to I would really like to explore this corner shade here, so we'll do something with the blue. Maybe we'll revisit the orange. I'm thinking that might be fun. So I'm gonna start with sky blue, and we're just gonna start packing that on while I think about what I'm doing next. If anybody has recommendations for like a super white opaque eye primer, let me know. I really wanted to like the ABH one, but that dried my eyelid out so bad I couldn't use it anymore. The Peiliee base is fine, but I find that I never use very much of it at once, and then it just doesn't end up covering doing anything because I guess I shear it out too much. Maybe I should be using more of it at once, I'm not so sure. Today I just put some concealer on my eyelids because it's late in the evening, so I'm not gonna really be wearing this for very long, and I just needed to get on camera really quickly for you guys. So this shadow definitely takes some building, but it's not sticking. It blends really easily, so I'll take that over pigment but no blend any day. And you can see that it definitely shows up on my skin, and it's actually not pulling very green. You guys will probably know by now that I can be very fussy with blues precisely because they sometimes can start looking really green on me. If you notice any pink staining on my eyelid, I actually am filming twice in one day, and so the eyeshadow previously removed left behind a very mild stain. I will say that I'm like getting so little kick up in the pan. It's almost like I'm running my brush through a cream, and then on the eye, I'm not getting like any fallout at all. I'm so impressed with the consistency. Okay, so I applied that shade pretty generously, just kind of all over the place, and I think what I'm going to do next is I am going to I think I'm gonna go into Peach Ring, which I actually used in the first look, and I kind of want to use that on the inner corner just for a little bit of contrast. No, actually, I'm just kidding. I'm gonna go into Pink Strawberry over that blue and pink pastel look. Now this shade has a little bit of that micro glitter in it. You can see it on my eyelid. I'm not particularly bothered. It doesn't really ever bother me. I know some people really hate these kinds of shades, but I don't care either way. Just so that I can use a shade I haven't used yet. It's not a super bright pastel pink, so it's not gonna kind of brighten up my inner corner the way that a true baby pink would, but it still looks really nice. It's called Pink Strawberry, and it definitely reminds me of like strawberry candy. Okay, and then kind of like you saw in the first look, I'm gonna go into Marshmallow, and we're gonna use that white to lighten up the inner corners a little bit. I'm totally surprising myself with how often I'm ending up using this white. I thought it was like not super useful, but I'm actually like, wow, I use this a lot. And then I'm gonna go back in with Sky Blue, kind of mix the two shades a little bit better. So that is what they're looking like now. And now I'm really wanting to use the shimmer. Now the shimmer is a lot darker than the blue matte, so if I put it on the middle of the lid, it's definitely gonna add a bit of an element of smokiness, but I still want to try it, and if it ends up needing something even darker in the outer corner, I can go in with a shade like Mixed Berry or Sugar Mama. I can use those and deepen up the look, and that's how we can like rescue it, I guess. So I'm gonna go into Blue Raspberry. It definitely feels pretty firmly pressed. It's not super soft, and it's not super opaque. I'd say the shimmers in this palette are kind of, I wouldn't say they're like necessarily disappointing, but they're not what I would be expecting from her formula. I don't hate it necessarily because, as you can see, it's not making this look too intense at all, but I definitely wasn't expecting it to look like this, if that makes sense. I'll try using a flat brush, see if maybe I can pull up some more product. Maybe my finger just couldn't quite get through the first layer. Yeah, the brush can lay on a little bit more, but it's still definitely not feeling super metallic. Definitely feels more like kind of toned down. But for this look, it goes on really nicely for this look. I was just hoping, I guess, that it would be more intense because I don't really have a metallic blue like this in my collection. It would have been nice if this was like warm blue shimmer I've been looking for. And I do kind of want some depth, so I'm gonna go into, not Mixed Berry, I don't really know if I want to work with another shimmer today, but I'll go into Sugar Mama. This shade feels a little bit more kind of dry, and we're just gonna pop that on the outer corner. And I don't really want it to like completely cover up all the blue on the outer corner, so I'm just kind of make it like a really soft, really blown out blurred shadow wing so that you can still see it, but it's not actually taking up the whole section. It just adds a little bit of depth. So it does feel dry when I'm pushing into the pan, but it applies on my eye just fine, so nothing to worry about there. You can see I got some of the shadow all the way down here because I got too messy. Okay, so now for the lower lash line, I'm not so sure what to do. I think I'm just gonna take strawberry all over the lower lash line. I kind of want the whole look to not seem too terribly intense, so I think just having this light pink, and we'll go from there. Okay, and now I'm just going to take that marshmallow white and use that to brighten up the inner corner. It's a good white. I can see that this white was designed mostly to lighten whatever's on top underneath it as opposed to actually being a white. Yeah, that doesn't look half bad. I think just for some cohesiveness, I am going to put blue raspberry on the lower lash line, and we're just going to kind of hit the middle. Miso sees a bug on the wall. I'm gonna finish off the rest of my face and I'll be right back. Okay, this is the final look. My concealer looks awful, so ignore that. But the gloss this time is going to be in the shade E-Bug. It's the gloss with the sparkle. It looked a little bit too warm in the tube. I thought it wouldn't work with the blues because you can see that the rest of my face is kept pretty neutral just to kind of match with the blue on the eye, but it actually ended up just kind of turning my lips a slightly more intense shade of what they already are. I'm not really so sure how that worked. Plus, you honestly can actually barely tell that there's glitters, and when I rub my lips together, as with the other gloss, it doesn't stick my lips together at all, and I can't feel the glitters. So I definitely will like this. I can definitely use this more often than I thought I was going to. And the way that it just kind of very subtly enhanced the color of my lips is actually really cool. So again, I only have lip liner on, so the color you see my lips is the color of my base lips with nothing on, and then just this gloss. And you can see it's so pretty, and these are also like so reflective. Like, these are the ultimate shiny glosses for like an aesthetic picture, but they're so comfortable too. And I will say, I was taking pictures of the last look, and a couple times I got hair in my face, and I just pulled my hair right off and it came off easily, and the gloss didn't smear at all. The hair just came right off the gloss. Like, it stuck to the gloss a little bit, and so I had to take my fingers to pull the hair, but it didn't drag the gloss and it didn't take much resistance at all. So this is definitely not gonna be like a hairproof gloss. Like, no gloss is hairproof, but this is the least sticky gloss I've ever tried, and I love it. I love the finish of it. Honestly, I think I like this better than the M Cosmetics clear gloss that I have, and I thought that was already so good. So I definitely, if I'm looking for like just a simple clear gloss, because these both are honestly pretty sheer, then I'm definitely gonna just go for these, especially because one of them kind of adds like a very slight warm tinge to my lips and the other one just seems to enhance the color of my lips. I'm like in love with these glosses. This was totally the sneak surprise of this collection. And the reason my lashes have vanished is because A, I'm filming this and just realized just now I didn't put any mascara on, but given that it's 9:05 p.m. I think you guys can forgive me for this one and just let me have no lashes just for this look. I mean, the eyeshadow carries itself. I think I look fine, and honestly, I guess it might be nice once in a while for all of you monolid people out there to see a look without mascara, for if you're ever too lazy to put mascara on, because I know waterproof mascara is annoying to remove. So I hope you guys enjoyed the second look, and I'll be doing one more look after this. Hi everyone! So this is gonna be the third and final look. I so far have definitely felt like I was more excited when I opened the package than now that I'm using it for the third time. I don't feel like I'm as excited anymore. So we're gonna kind of see what happens, and then I'll round up my thoughts afterwards. But yeah, I don't know. I definitely still like it, but I feel like the color story definitely kind of drew me in, but then the performance of the shimmers is kind of what's been kind of getting to me a little bit. So today I'm gonna be using the purples. I haven't used those yet, and I'm not so sure what kind of shades I'm gonna be adding into the purples yet. I might kind of just be boring and do like orange, pink, and purple and see what happens there, but we'll see. So I'm gonna start off with E-Bug, and that's gonna kind of be my base shade. I'm also using synthetic Luxie brushes for this final look. I know natural brushes I generally have better results with, but I definitely have run into some formulas that oddly enough seem to perform better with a more standard synthetic, which is fine. So I figured I'd try different kinds of brushes. I also today don't have any primer on. I just have the foundation, and then obviously I use setting spray to finish off my base, and then that can make my eyelids a bit tacky. So I just kind of let that be all for primer. This is a really nice purple, honestly. Using it in one of the first looks I did as like an inner corner thing was not the greatest idea, but like just as an all over base shade, this is a really pretty purple. And you can see it's not pulling like a bruise on me. It looks very different than the purple in the original Norvina palette, which I no longer have. I am definitely interested in picking up the Norvina Volume 5 eventually. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. Okay, so that's the eyeshadow on. I'm also just going to go ahead and put that on the lower lash line. I know I'm going to want it to be there. So for now it's looking pretty monochromatic. Do not like my combination of concealer and powder today. Okay, so now I think I'm going to go in with Sugar Mama. And I kind of want to use it on the outer corner just for some depth. This is the shade that feels a little less creamy, but it seems to perform fine. So, because like when I first rub my brush into it, it feels like I'm rubbing across like a really hard, stiff pan. Like it didn't feel super great. Once I stick it on my actual eyeball, it like looks fine. So just adds a nice color accent to the outer corner. I'm now thinking it would be really fun to take that roasted caramel and kind of blow out the lower lash line a little bit. Just add like that flash of warmth. So it kind of definitely gives a much more interesting kind of look to my eyeshadow now that it's blown out more downwards. You see, it kind of looks almost like a watercolorish effect. It'll also help kind of cover up powder looking so bad. And then I'm gonna go in with Peach Ring, add some brightness to the outer edges of that. Oh my gosh, my under eyes are so dry looking right now. It's like really bad. There's a little more on this side, so I'll go in from this side. Kind of like that. Alright, now I'm going to take Macaron. I'm going to just kind of push it into the middle of my eyelid. This brush seems to do a pretty good job picking up these metallics. So I think I'll try using this palette a couple more times with this kind of brush. Overall, the shimmers in this palette are all definitely on the subtle side compared to shimmers that I historically enjoy using. Even though this is a much more even application, this still is definitely kind of giving me like Korean shimmer vibes, or even almost bordering on like a true satin. And it's not bad. That doesn't mean the quality is bad. It's just a different kind of effect. And so if you're the kind of person who only ever uses ultra metallics, or if like me you just have a really strong preference for ultra strong metallics, then you are gonna find this to be maybe a little too weak for you. And you know, it's called Candy Skies. It's a much more pastel dreamy vibe. Having the shimmers be more subdued does fit with the concept. So overall, I don't see this being something I personally will be using too terribly often just because of my personal preference. But if I ever want something really soft and feminine, this is like the perfect palette for like me to do like Lolita makeup kind of a thing, you know? I am gonna go in with Mixed Berry, and I'm gonna use that just along my lash line, and I just want to add the tiniest bit of depth, just like right here. Just add some depth, almost like it's eyeliner. If you hear noises, the kittens are out and playing, the foster kittens, and they are definitely at the age where everything is fun, so I let them out to play for several hours every day, and they make a lot of noise. So you can see I just kind of used it as like very subtle eyeliner. I'm also then gonna add a teeny tiny bit of it to my lower lash line, just on the very outer corner. You can kind of see how it makes my eyes a bit longer compared to this eye. There is a little bit of fallout, but I can just sweep that off. And lastly, I'm gonna blend out that purple with a little bit more of Peach Ring. This is definitely super soft and dreamy. And then I do want to add a little bit of punchiness to the lower lash line, kind of like right in the middle. So I am going to go ahead and take, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take Mint Chip again. just because I've had such good luck with it as an inner corner thing for my lower lash line. So I'm just going to use that again, and we're just going to kind of add an additional pop of color. And this is a beautiful mint shade. I love this shade so much, I could almost say this entire palette is worth it just for this mint. Overall, the mattes in this palette are just so surprising. I haven't had any fallout with the mattes, and I've used every single matte in this palette now, you know, and I've definitely packed them on, and I've just not had a single bit of fallout. I don't even get kickback in the pan. It comes off the pan as if it was a cream. So these are just insane mattes, and given that these colors are, you know, some of these colors are honestly pretty unusual. If you don't mind the shimmers not being the punchiest shimmers in the world, this palette is still gonna be something that you'll really enjoy, and I personally still really like it. Alright, I'm gonna finish off my eyes and my face, and I'll be right back. Okay, so this is the finished look. I just went with a simple pink kind of tint. I used the Unleashia one. This time I used it in the shade N3, so you can see the shade here. It definitely matches this look really well, and you guys know that I love these. This definitely could benefit from black liner, but I'm just kind of lazy and I didn't feel like adding it on. So I also am still kind of looking for like a really good black eyeliner. So, but yeah, that's what this finished look is looking like. Ignore my hair, it needs to be washed. But I hope you guys enjoyed this third look. I think as for my current thoughts on the palette, it's kind of just that I definitely am kind of disappointed in the shimmers, but I am just so blown away by the mattes and how they perform. These are some of the best pastel mattes I've ever used. Now, it should be noted that these are not as white or as light as pastels. These almost are kind of not counting as pastels, but because of that, the formula is so good and these show up so well on my eyes without looking super ashy or super bruisey. And I especially, like I said, the mint color is just one of the best mints I've ever used. If you are like having different shimmer preferences than me, then I think you will love the shimmers in this palette. I just always super love a good punchy shimmer, so sometimes I get a little disappointed when it wasn't as intense as I would have liked. However, that's not to say that there is not a beautiful amount of sheen and shininess on my eyelids right now. It still looks really, really pretty. I am just so in love with this look, and I think this is kind of the favorite one of the three, honestly, but I love all three that I created. If the shimmers had been a little bit punchier, I think this would have been such a dream palette for me. Could recommend this to you guys. I still would feel confident knowing you guys would like it too. I even don't mind that there's a white in this palette. I would say the biggest downside to this palette is the profound lack of a shimmery inner corner highlight, but again, just use your face highlight. You'll be fine. So I hope you guys so enjoyed this video of my 3 looks using Candy Rain. I definitely am super interested in Laura Lee Los Angeles after this. I almost want to pick up Nudie 2 now, just because this was so pretty, and I know Nudie 2 has some different metallic formulas in it that I would be interested in trying, so I go let you guys know about that. I used her 2 glosses in the previous 2 looks. I love both of these. I actually loved them both way more than I expected them to. I think these are going to be my new go-to clear glosses. So yeah, I'm just blown away, honestly. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!